Hi, Lauren. It, it,
I'm
Good
muted,
morning.
sorry.
Good morning, board members that are joining us via WebEx. We are waiting just a couple of more minutes for our chair to arrive. So we'll get started as soon as he gets here.
Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you guys are doing well. I want to call this meeting to order. Pat, can you please take the roll call?
Good morning, everyone. City of Avondale, Councilmember Max White.
Present.
City of Buckeye, Councilmember Jermaine Berry. City of Chandler, Councilmember Odie Harris.
Here.
City of El Mirage, Councilmember Monica Dorsey.
Meeting.
Town of Fountain Hills, Councilmember Peggy McMahon. Town of Gilbert, Councilmember Kenny Buckland.
Here.
City of Glendale, Vice Mayor Lauren Chalmachov.
Here.
City of Goodyear, Vice Mayor Wally Campbell. I see her on WebEx. Maricopa County Supervisor Steve Gallardo. City of Mesa, Councilmember Francisco Heredia.
Here.
City of Peoria, Councilmember John Edwards.
Here.
City of Phoenix, Councilmember Laura Pastor.
I'm here.
Town of Queen Creek, Councilmember Brian McClure.
Here.
City of Scottsdale, Councilmember Mary Ann McAllen. City of Surprise, Councilmember Earl Greenberg.
Here.
City of Tempe, Councilmember Jennifer Adams.
present,
City of Tolleson, Vice Mayor Jimmy Davis.
Present.
And Town of Wickenburg, Mayor B.G. Bratchert. She is online. Town of Youngtown, Mayor Michael LaVault.
Yes, Pat, I'm here.
Chair, we are ready to proceed.
Well, thank you, council members, vice mayors, and various other members of our board. Thank you for being here. And today we're kicking off another exciting meeting. We just got back from DC, advocating to get funding here and making sure we develop those partnerships led by our amazing CEO. I gotta say, staff did a good job in trying to help us get there, and really appreciating the board members that did go. It was very insightful. And I do think that it was a delight trip. So thank you to our CEO. Thank you to Alexis. Thank you for doing a good job. We appreciate you. And staff continues to do a good job at Valley Metro. I think we got the best staff, in transportation. I gotta say, I'm just gonna brag a little bit. I met a lot of people, but we got some really great staff here, and we really appreciate it a lot. So we're gonna move to item number 1, which is public comment. Pat, do we have any public comment?
No, sir, not today.
All right, moving on to number 2, we'll send it over to Jessica, our CEO.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good morning, members of the board. I've got quite a few items to provide you with an update on this morning. As Chair Harris indicated, this past week was busy as we attended the American Public Transportation Association Legislative Conference. Chair Harris, AFS Chair White, Councilmember Tolmachov, Councilmember Edwards, and Vice Mayor Davis joined Alexis Tamron-Kinsey and I for the conference, and a very busy day of Hill visits on this past Tuesday. We spent that time speaking with members of our congressional delegation, both Republicans and Democrats, advocating for our priorities for the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act reauthorization bill. Our visit was timely. We heard from House Transportation and Infrastructure Chairman Graves and Ranking Member Larson just last night that they intend to move a reauthorization bill through Congress by this fall. We have submitted our priorities, and we will continue to lobby those members, emphasizing our desire to see continued stable federal funding for public transit, plus the cost of inflation incorporated into that bill. We've submitted a few different recommendations for NEPA reform that we hope will help us speed the processing and execution of federally funded projects. We also must continue to see robust capital investment grant or SIG program funding. The Phoenix region has been incredibly successful in attracting SIG funding to support our rail investment projects, and we'd like to continue those programs. We've also lobbied for a very specific inclusion of and new federal formula funding that would help transit agencies like ours, including Valley Metro, support safety and security efforts, including capital investment, with the possibility of leveraging federal formula funds to also support security and operations. We will continue to keep this board apprised of our federal legislative updates. I've got the slides. May's been a busy month in the Valley. I joined Councilmember Pastor last week on May 15th on a bike to work day. Councilmember Pastor led this effort and it was well attended. I don't know how many participants we had, but 250 participants. It was a wonderful day. We were accompanied by City of Phoenix Police celebrating the many alternative modes that we have other than driving a vehicle to actually get to work in the morning. Thank you, Councilmember Pastor, for joining us along that ride. I'm out of order here. Last month, we also celebrated our 25th annual Design a Transit Wrap contest. This is a wonderful contest involving high school students from across the Valley. I think we had over 175 original art submissions. Our winning artist was Leslie Rascon, and we visited her in South Central Phoenix at Betty Fairfax High School. Leslie's design is featured for a year on a bus as well as on a light rail train. We visited with Leslie and her family. They are delighted to know that her art will be prominently featured on one of the light rail vehicle cars that are part of the inaugural train ride aboard the South Central Extension coming up on June 7th. So congratulations to all of our high school award winners. Inside of Valley Metro, we just graduated our most recent cohort group of the Valley Metro Exchange Program. This is part of our strategic plan initiative, Investing in Talent. VMAX is a cross-disciplinary program that introduces team members to different facets of our operation across the organization. The idea is to break down silos and increase collaboration and knowledge transference, and also to build and develop team members so that they can move up, across, and diagonally within the Valley Metro organization. On May 1st, Mike Powell and the transportation team welcomed our East Valley member city staff on a tour of the Tempe bus operations and maintenance facility. They toured the Operations Control Center. They previewed our new 2400 series of CNG buses, and they heard from Keolis leadership about their scorecard and their approach to driving performance excellence for bus service across East Valley. Thanks, Mike, for engaging with our member city partners. I am also pleased, paratransit performance has been an important topic of discussion at this board. We're working very closely with our two vendors, MTM, who actually delivers paratransit service, and MJM, who's our broker for paratransit and Ride Choice. We have performance improvement programs in place for both of those vendors, and we are seeing the results of that. We are now within our goal of trips that are being diverted from MTM to overflow providers. Our goal's not more than 5%, by the way. And in April, we were at 4.2%. We've also already reduced our cost per trip by 14.8%. Some of the strategies that we are embracing include clustering our subscription trips, so trips that customers take on a regular basis. Think journeys to work or dialysis. And we're creating routine routes that we repeat. This gives our customers stability. They've got a peer cohort group of customers on board their trip that is consistent, and it also helps us create and preserve efficient trips. We're also trying to drive more subscription trips, so we're looking at those trips that occur on some kind of an episodic basis across the system and stringing them together into more subscriptions. So congratulations to the transportation team. We are committed to continuing to drive further performance improvement within our paratransit contract. On the security side, this has been a big week. We are now 10 days into transition of our new Intercon security contract, which went into effect on May the 12th. This board authorized award of that contract this past March, and we have moved very quickly with the Intercon security team to begin that performance. This is a new approach. It's one important layer. It's the foundation of our overall security program. The new contract approach emphasizes presence across the system, It also creates the opportunity and demands that the contractor be nimble and responsive in their deployment strategies, focusing on where our riders are and where incident data emerges. Our past contract was rather prescriptive in defining the number of hours at each given location for our guard members. We've also created a supervisory and support team, including recruiters, trainers, and supervisors that are all aimed to support and encourage the success of our frontline guards. This new contract represents a 20% increase in presence across the system and includes the soon opening of the South Central Rail extension. There's also a 75-cent wage rate increase, and that has allowed us to field this very large team quickly. About half of the 323 full-time team members are incumbents that came to us from our past contractor, and the other half are new hires to the contract. I encourage you, if you haven't taken a ride on the Valley Metro system, please take a ride. The visibility, they're in these bright yellow shirts as shown here. The visibility is noticeable. The supervisors are in white, shown on the lower right of the screen. Their presence is palpable. I have received numerous unsolicited feedback points over the last week and a half, noting the increase in presence, but also engagement of these team members who are greeting our riders, requesting to see fare, and helping them along their journey. This is but one layer. We're also continuing our Operation Blue Ride program aboard bus and light rail with our law enforcement partners. We're continuing active patrols from law enforcement from the cities of Tempe, Mesa, and Phoenix. And we're also pursuing funding to support street level outreach in the form of social services personnel across the system. We had the opportunity this week to meet with Congresswoman Ansari's staff, who have advanced an application that we have for $1 million in federal funding to launch a pilot street level outreach program. We will continue to update you on the progress of that request. Also aboard light rail, we are gearing up. I think we are 16 days out from launching our 2-line system on Saturday, June 7th. This involves a great deal of education because we're not just expanding, but this is the point at which we shift from 1 line to 2. We're going to be operating our A line from downtown Phoenix east into Mesa. We'll terminate there at Gilbert and Maine on the far right. And then the B line is going to go from Metro Center in the north to Central and Baseline in the south. This involves updating all of the signage across the system, outreach to customers and the public. We've also purchased paid digital media so that we can get our message out. And we've conducted a number of media events, including a live event in the downtown hub that occurred just yesterday morning. I hope you've had the opportunity to see some of those clips. I thank Hillary Foose and our communications and marketing team for pushing this information out. We're going to continue this education and outreach even beyond the opening of South Central Extension. And of course, I must remind us all, we encourage you and welcome your participation at the celebratory event on Saturday, June 7th. We will be out at Central and Baseline at 8:30 a.m. Saturday, June the 7th. Finally, looking ahead to the final meetings of our fiscal year, we will not have a July board cycle. We will be back in this room on, don't see it, on June 12th for our next board. Do you see it? Yeah. Okay. June 12th is our next board meeting. Our next audit finance committee meeting is June 5th. Is it? No.
It's June 4th and 5th.
Is June. Yeah. We have a June cycle. TMC-RMC is Wednesday, June 4th, and audit finance subcommittee is Thursday, June 5th. And then the following Thursday is our board meeting. It has been pulled forward because our regularly scheduled meeting would fall on Thursday, June 19th. That is a holiday for Valley Metro for our second consecutive year as we celebrate Juneteenth. We will come back for August with a board study session as requested by Councilmember Pastor. August will include a study session focused on community engagement. That concludes my update, Mr. Chair. Are there any questions I may answer from the board?
Is there any questions from the board members online? All right, well, seeing there's no questions, thank you for that delightful report. It's been amazing just, I wanted to say this because, you know, being at the conference, and then when I started talking to many of the CEOs and what they're doing, I was talking to New York. And New York fares is like for the monthly pass with fare capping, it was $287 with fare capping in New York. And I was just kind of having that conversation. I was like, man, our rides are very cost effective, very efficient, and very safe rides, and very clean, you know, throughout our system. And I just really just enjoy how efficient we are and how well staff works together to make sure we stay like above the rest of it. And getting it, we had received an award for, tell them about the award that we received.
Thank you. I neglected to include that in our report, but the American Council of Engineering Companies recognized our Northwest Extension Phase 2 as an award of honor. So congratulations, Trevor Collins, our capital development team. And Jacobs Engineering, our designer, Hewitt McCarthy Joint Venture was our contractor. It has been a very award-winning project that we delivered ahead of schedule and under budget. Well done, team.
Well, that's why I said we have the best. We have an award-winning staff. Put that in the notes. All right, moving on to the next item. Councilmember Max White.
I move that we accept the consent agenda.
Second.
All right, there's been a request for a motion, a second to approve the consent agenda items 3A through 3E. There's been a motion and a second. Any opposed? All those for it, say it. Yes.
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 Aye. Any opposed, say nay. All right. It has been passed. Moving on to number 4, Audit and Finance Committee. Councilmember Max White.
Thank you so much, Chair. I appreciate it. The Audit and Finance Subcommittee met Thursday, May 8th. We were pleased that our chair joined us as well as Mayor Bratcher for that meeting and discussion. We received the CFO's report from Mr. Kessler. We're about 2% over prior year actuals and just under 2% below budget through end of April. We approved our meeting minutes and had a nice discussion and executive session for our committee to make an FY26 budget recommendation, which will include merit increase, and we can go through that during that part of our RPTA Valley Metro Rail budget discussion. We received FY25 third quarter budget review that was for information only. Also took a look at FY26 operating and capital budget information for RPTA Valley Metro. There is going to be an 18.3 million year-over-year increase driven by ongoing obligations. But you'll see when we take a look at the capital budget that there's very little change from the last version. And the 114.2 million capital budget preliminary driven by capital extension, our future project development, and the state of good repair. So we'll have more of that. We do have a 5-year plan for VMR. Very minor changes there. We took a look at the paratransit operator fitness for duty audit, which contained no findings and was presented for acceptance. We looked at employee mileage reimbursement audit, again, was presented for acceptance. Audit found 2 recommendations that Valley Metro staff are working to implement. We had an internal audit update, and there are a few audits that are underway. Staff is making headway on implementing audit recommendations. Our next audit and finance meeting is scheduled for Thursday, June 5th at noon. And that concludes my report, Mr. Chair.
Thank you to our treasurer, Councilmember Max White. We'll move on to the next item, number 5, which is our May 2025 strategic plan quarterly update. Jessica, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to invite Melissa Boyles, Chief of Staff, to the podium for a brief update on the past quarter of activities. For our board members who are relatively new, we provide a quarterly update. We do alternate the items or initiatives that we're reporting on in the interest of brevity. Ms. Boyles.
Thank you. Thank you, Jessica, Mr. Chair, members of the board. As Jessica mentioned, we do alternate goal areas that we discuss on a quarterly basis. Back in January of 2024, Valley Metro Boards of Directors approved our FY25 through FY30 strategic plan. With that adoption was that quarterly reporting cadence, in addition to the detailed strategic plan quarterly report that's really oriented around key performance indicators that's in your packet. We provide these updates first in February and then in August regarding customer experience, stakeholder collaboration. I'm sorry, I need my glasses to read, and I can't see you if I have them up. Stakeholder engagement, operational excellence, and security, as well as leveraging data technology and industry best practices. In the months of May and November, we provide updates regarding investing in talent, board governance, excellence in our leadership and execution, and financial sustainability. FY 2025 initiatives related to talent, leadership, governance, and finance, include completing a staffing assessment, our class and comp study, of course, our culture survey that we did just this spring, developing a new board member onboarding process and material, and securing financial software for forecasting. For Invest in Talent, we did complete an initial staffing assessment that did inform our original FY25 budget requests. We also created staffing related learning and development tools. These tools track retention, turnover, vacancies, demographics, and participation in, as well as demand for, learning and development programs. The data will inform improvements to our recruiting, retention, and development programs and processes. Some initiatives for FY25 will end up shifting into FY26. For example, our maintenance technical training program. The results of the class and comp study will inform some of those job classifications and the requirements for the positions that the curriculum will be based on. And leadership and execution. Part of our focus for FY25 has been to create an inclusive culture. In order to create an inclusive culture, we needed to assess the culture that we have. So where are we and where do we want to be? We completed the agency-wide culture survey in March. We had an 84% response rate against a 70% goal. Our results were benchmarked against North American transit agencies of a similar size that had also conducted similar surveys. Valley Metro's results for believing in our mission and being proud to work for the agency were higher than the highest results among the surveys that were benchmarked. Areas for us to focus on in the coming year include workload and retention. And of course, we recognize we have work to do with our teams. This information is really going to inform our activities as we move forward into the coming year. On the board governance front, our board governance process improvements include, as some of you have experienced, a brand new Valley Metro 101 program, educational program about all of the things that we're doing, as well as a new board member onboarding. We're focusing a lot on defining the roles and responsibilities related to transitioning to Proposition 479 and working both internally and with our regional partners. Of course, the transition of Prop 479 also affects our financial sustainability, and we have been working, our finance and our governance teams, working very closely with our regional partner MAG to update or draft the new transit lifecycle program funding policies, as well as update the revenue and expenditure estimates. The financial forecasting software proposals are currently under review. We anticipate coming back to the board later this year with a recommendation. And with that, that concludes my presentation. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you so much for that great presentation. It just kind of reaffirms what we are doing, and obviously the culture that we're trying to set in our organization is there, and we'll continue to evaluate our progress. And I love the fact that we're willing to have so much commitment to our process that we're willing to evaluate to make sure that we're doing things right. So thank you for the presentation. That's it. Thank you so much. The next item is item number 6. If there is any questions about item number 6, travel and expenditures, any questions from the board members? Seeing none, we'll move on to number 7, current events. Any current events? Any member wants to report? I will just report one current event that is happening as we get ready to Juneteenth kickoff is happening in Chandler. I know that we're going to on Friday night, I think it's the 13th, we're going to be doing a pageant at our Chandler Center of the Arts for Miss Juneteenth. And then on Saturday, we're going to be doing culture music in the park. That's going to be like at 6 o'clock in the evening, where we're going to allow people to kind of come hang out at our downtown park, get some good food, hang out, get some good culture in you. We're going to be having Ball & Willis and Ear Candy performing in downtown Chandler. So it's going to be a really cool event. I'm super excited and can't wait for that to happen. So, and I know that Tempe is doing something as well on that Saturday as well. They're doing like a culture and culture music as well in their parks as well.
We sure are.
Yeah. I know you guys got it from me. I just wanted to let the record reflect.
Oh, no, you got it from us.
You
Let's
know?
be clear on that one.
Listen,
Want we go back in history?
let's just move on from this item. Anybody else want to report any current events? All right, seeing now, let's go to number 8. The next meeting of the joint board is scheduled for Thursday, June 12th, 2025, 11:15 a.m. That concludes that meeting. Next meeting. This is the Valley Metro RPTA, Thursday, May 22nd, 2025. Minutes from the approval of April 17, 2025 board meeting are presented for approval. If there's not any questions, then I will ask for a motion to approve the April 17, 2025 board meeting minutes. Vice Mayor Jimmy, Councilwoman Pastora has seconded. It is, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. All right, item number 2, I'm gonna send this over to our CEO, Jessica Miller.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Without much preamble from me, I'm going to invite Ken Kessler, our Chief Financial Officer, to the podium to provide a presentation on the draft FY26 Valley Metro RPTA budget. In recent months, we've had fairly extensive engagement with member city staff and this board, and we have worked to be responsive to your feedback and guidance, as well as the very real financial conditions impacting our communities across the valley. So without further ado, Mr. Kessler, please.
Thank you, Jessica. Chair, members of the board, just do want to start off with thanking our budget team and staff throughout the organization for putting together this budget, as well as making adjustments along the way. Also want to thank you, your member city staff and the management committees for their input and feedback and helping us and guiding us through the process of developing the FY26 budget. So just want to start off with a high-level overview of our budget as it stands now. Do want to point out we made some revisions since the packet was sent out, so the numbers here are slightly different from what was in the packet. This is about a $200,000 decrease on the RPTA budget compared to the numbers in the packet for a total $279.3 million budget. And then showing the breakdown of the operating budget here, the $279.3 million budget, fixed route operations, demand services being the 2 biggest programs within RPTA. And next, just want to walk through some modifications that occurred to the budget. Last month, I believe this body did see these changes as a result of feedback we received from TMC, RMC, and AFS. So here we show the 7 positions that were removed from the initial request of 21 positions. And then of the remaining 14, these are the 5 positions that are actually insourcing contract work that's performed with vendors today. And then this table here shows the remaining 9 positions that are really a result of system growth and state of good repair needs going forward. And then next, I want to talk about some of the changes since the last cycle. So in addition to reducing the positions requested, there are a couple of other changes that are incorporated into this version of the budget, specifically related to staff compensation. So first, we have the classification and compensation study. We've decreased the budget from a total of 980,000 to 800,000. That's overall across both agencies. And this update reduces the RPTA budget by 68,000 and VMR by 112,000. And also, as you recall, during the April board meeting, the board asked staff to present and discuss FY26 staff compensation adjustments, including performance merit increase and a possible cost of living adjustment with the Audit and Finance Subcommittee. That discussion was held on the May 8th with the 5 AFS members, as well as a couple additional members of the board that participated. Staff presented AFS with multiple scenarios, and AFS recommended that a 2% COLA and 3% performance merit be included in the FY26 budget being presented here today. And those numbers are incorporated based on that recommendation in the budget we're looking at today. This results in about $160,000 increase to RPTA over the previous version of the budget that we presented, and about $240,000 increase to VMR for COLA and merit. And then, so combined the recommended performance and COLA adjustment along with the class and comp adjustment actually results in a $92,000 increase in net total to the RPTA budget from the last version and $128,000 increase to the VMR from the prior version. So now moving on to review what some of the main items driving the budget year-over-year change. For RPTA, the annual escalations to existing contracts, increased demand service based on forecasted ridership trends, and then increased van pool service based on increased demand for those services, along with the new initiatives recommended by Valley Metro. And then here's the summary showing those dollar amounts of those ongoing obligations totaling just under $17.2 million that are in the FY26 budget. And then on the capital side, no change from the last version here, $66.2 million capital budget. Main item there in the budget is the regional fleet purchases. And then briefly on the 5-year forecast, again, very minimal changes here from the last version based on those adjustments to the FY26 budget. About a $1.8 billion 5-year program on the operating side for RPTA. And then on the capital side, about a $407 million capital program for the next 5 years. So that concludes my presentation, and this is presented here today for possible action, and the recommendation is before you.
Thank you so much for the presentation. Board members have been able to talk with staff, and we was able to work through any additional questions from various cities. At this time, I'm going to request a motion and a second to approve the RPTA FY26 proposed operating capital budget and acceptance of the 5-year operating forecast and capital improvement program FY 2026 through 2030.
So moved.
There's been a motion. There's been
Second.
a second. Okay. Who's second? First, Councilmember Mary Ann Allen from McAllen from Scottsdale. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed say nay. Thank you so much. It has passed. Item number 3, election of FY 2026 board officers and subcommittee members. This item is presented for information only. In June of each fiscal year, this RPTA elects board officers in addition to electing members to 2 standing subcommittees of the board, the Joint Board Subcommittee and the Audit Finance Subcommittee. The board and the subcommittee members must be elected officials and participate on the respective subcommittees are limited to elected officials only. The deadline for submitting letters of interest to Pat is Friday, June 6th at 5 p.m. All right, item number 4. If there is, this is the report on current events. Any current events that any board member would like to bring forward?
Yes, I just wanted to share that We Ride continues to have record-setting months and just thank the CEO and the staff for your support of our efforts out in the West Valley and encourage folks to let's continue to provide that last mile of transit, and We Ride's the way to do it in Avondale, Goodyear, Peoria. Can pick up other cities soon. I mean, I'm looking over here to the west, right? And surprise, right? It's no surprise and surprise. So thank you all so much for our member cities, and let's continue to set records.
All right.
I have to say that we love our micro transit system in the city of Tolleson. So we'll be continuing forward with that. Sorry, Max.
Okay.
Just one other thing, it is gonna be June pretty soon, so I just want to wish everyone a happy Pride Month.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
See you later.
All right, well, anybody else? Okay, awesome. Moving on to item number 5. The next meeting is Thursday, June 12th, 2025 at 11:15 a.m. Thank you. That concludes the meeting.
I just want to confirm that OD adjourned the meeting. Are we adjourned?
Yes, we're
Yes, 'cause I'm
adjourned.
starting.
Adjourn.
Where are you?
I got too busy of a day to have time to drive down there and drive back. So yeah, I'm at my home office. I'll see y'all next month.
See you next month. Thank you so much.
Thank you, council members.
I'm just gonna start.
Go ahead, start.
Yeah, you guys can stay. I don't need that. Ready? Oh, ready.
See you later, Taylor.
Bye.
See you on June 7th.
All right, I'm going to convene the meeting and welcome members to the April meeting. Item number 1 is the consent agenda. The consent agenda is presented for action. Anybody have any questions or would like to pull anything from the consent agenda? Okay, I request a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda items 1A and 1B.
So
Motion.
moved.
Okay, I got a motion
Jennifer Adams.
Yes.
by Councilwoman Member Harris and the second by Adams, or either way, however you want to do it, Pat. I'm just gonna keep it moving. Item number 2, RailPod Annual Data Service Subscription and Maintenance Program Contract Award. Does anybody have any questions or discussion on this award? Yes.
Excuse me, we need to vote on the consent agenda.
Oh, sorry. See, I'm moving. I have to be somewhere, that's why. Oh, we did. We did. They did. I was like, okay, now you're messing me up. Okay, I request a motion and a second to authorize the Chief Executive Officer to execute a 3-year agreement on the RailPod, Inc. for the annual database service subscription and maintenance program at a cost of $344,000.
Need a motion.
I need a motion.
So
I want
moved.
to make a motion to approve.
I need a second.
I second.
Okay, a motion has been made and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anybody that opposes? The ayes take it. Item number 3, light rail vehicle gearbox axle overhaul contract award. Jessica, could you please introduce this item?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to invite Rob Rosenberg, our Deputy Chief of Rail Vehicle and System Maintenance, to the podium for a brief presentation on our gearbox and axle overhaul program and this contract award request. Mr. Rosenberg.
Thanks, Jessica. Thanks, members of the boards. Next slide, please.
Is this what you use?
I will be brief. So what we've done here is just demonstrate, show the pictures of the gearbox and the axles. Approximately every 10 years, the manufacturer recommends that we overhaul these. This request before you today is to have them overhauled by the original equipment manufacturer to keep with these, because they are safety sensitive items. Next slide. So there's our recommendation to award Penn Machine a contract for 7 years for $2.8 million. Happy to take any questions.
Chair,
Are there any questions?
no questions, but I would like to make a motion.
I'd like a motion and a second.
Motion it.
I will read the thing.
Okay.
Do I have a second?
Jennifer.
I'll second.
Sorry, I was trying to unmute myself, so I apologize.
Okay,
But
you're my
I am-
second.
I am in favor.
I feel like I'm flying.
It's okay.
Okay, the motion and the second is to authorize the chief executive officer to enter into a contract with Penn Machine Company for gearbox axle overhaul services for 7 years with an aggregated value not to exceed $2,860,000. All those in favor, please say
Aye.
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 Any of those that oppose? The ayes take it. Item number 4, South Central LRT Extension Design Service Contract Amendment. Jessica Medford Miller, please take it away.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to invite Trevor Collin, our Chief of Capital Development, to the podium to introduce this item, which extends our existing design services contract for South Central Extension and Downtown Hub with AECom in time only through the period from June 2025 through project closeout. I want to note this item does not add budget to the contract. Mr. Collin.
Thank you, Madam Chair and members of the board. This will allow AECom to stay with us for, I imagine, about 6 to 12 months as we do the last closeout remaining items. This includes paperwork, some potential inspections, some final design pieces on the bridge. And I've listed some of the other items that we just need their continuing support for. As Jessica mentioned, this does not add any contract dollar value. It's just strictly a time extension through the closeout of the project. With that, Madam Chair, the recommendation is before you.
Thank you. I request a motion and a second to authorize the CEO to execute a contract amendment with AECom Technical Services to amend the period of performance to be upon completion and closeout of the South Central Downtown Hub Extension Project.
I make a
Right.
motion to approve the project.
I have a motion from Councilwoman or Vice Mayor Adams
And second from Councilmember Harris.
and second from Councilmember Harris. All those in, any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any that oppose? The ayes have it. Thank you. Item number 5, Valley Metro Rail Fiscal Year 2026 Proposed Operating and Capital Budget. Jessica Medford Miller will introduce this item.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Members of the VMR Board, Mr. Ken Kessler, Valley Metro Chief Financial Officer, will provide a brief presentation of the draft FY26 capital and operating budgets for Valley Metro Rail. Mr. Kessler.
Thank you, Jessica. Madam Chair, members of the board, here's the high-level budget overview for the operating budget for Valley Metro Rail, an overall budget of $118.7 million. Again, similar to RPTA, making some final adjustments. This is about $400,000 less than the numbers that were in the packet that was sent out. And then looking at the VMR operating program by program here, $118.7 million made up of the light rail, streetcar, and agency operating. And then as far as the proposed modifications, they are the same modifications we went over in the RPTA meeting, so nothing additional to add here. And just looking at budget drivers, a little bit different between VMR and RPTA. So for the FY26 budget, the operations of South Central expanding to a 2-line system being a big driver of the budget change there, similar to RPTA, annual escalations to existing contracts, and some other items in the budget that are pushing it upward this year. And then the summary of ongoing obligations is a list here of those items and the respective amounts, about $18.3 million of ongoing obligations that are included in the VMR budget. And on the capital side, no change from last month, $114.4 million capital budget for FY26, primarily being driven by capital extension and state of good repair. And then taking a look at the 5-year operating plan, about $637 million 5-year plan for the operating program. And then on the capital program, just a little over $1 billion for the 5-year program. And that concludes my presentation and recommendations before you. I'm happy to take any questions.
Does anybody have any questions? No. Any discussion? Okay, I request a motion and a second to approve the Valley Metro Rail FY26 proposed operating capital budget and acceptance of
move to-
the 5-year
Oh.
operating forecast and capital program. Go ahead.
I will motion to approve.
Second,
I
by
have a
Councilmember
motion.
Harris.
I have a motion from Vice Mayor Adams and a second from Councilman Harris. All those in, any discussion? None. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? The ayes have it. There we go. Item number 6, election of FY26 board officers and subcommittee members. This item is presented for information. In June of each fiscal year, the RPTA elects board officers. In addition to electing members to 2 standing subcommittees of the board, the Joint Board Subcommittee and the Audit and Finance Subcommittee, the board and the subcommittee members must be elected officials and participate on the respective committees are limited to elected officials only. Darn. The deadline for submitting letters of interest to Pat is Friday, June 6th at 5 p.m. Item number 7, any questions? No. Report on current events and suggested future items, agenda items. Anybody have that?
Nope.
Okay. Item number 8, the exciting one. The next board meeting is Thursday, June 12th, 2025 at 11:15. Meeting adjourned.
Great
Thank you.
work, everybody. I'll see you soon.
Thank you, Councilmember Adams, Mayor Bratcher.